Hey Heather. Hey everybody. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk in this last week, in the last couple of weeks really, about the Green Party in Scotland and remote collars and the potential banning of them. And then there's also a lot of trainers that also I've noticed doing loads of good work, but also trainers jumping on the bandwagon, and they don't really know what's going on. So I've been involved with the whole thing with remote collars in Scotland since it began. Been instrumental in it with the Association of Balanced Dog Trainers, and was a huge help in it not being banned in 2018. And I've worked with the Scottish Government since to have that not be in place. So just to give you the Heather's saying I'm still at work, keep it professional. Always, Heather, always. So yeah, I just wanted to give you the lowdown first of all. So let's give you a quick background, and whether you are a dog professional in any capacity or whether you are a dog owner, this will benefit you. Okay. And as I say, as I'm going, ask any questions if you want, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them for you. But 2018 consultation was put out in Scotland, with basically the question I'm asking about shock collars. That's obviously what they always worded it, shock collars. And so the reality is it's not shock collars, but that's what they're calling it, and they're always going to call it that. But they put out a consultation, and the consultation came back 50-50. 50 for banning it and 50 for keeping the e-collar. But the reality was that the 50% that were against e-collars, there was no evidence. It was all very emotive. It was all my Auntie Jean's nephew's uncle, hates e-collars, and they're cruel and abusive, and the outdated, barbaric method, the generic jargon. And those that were for e-collars were giving their own opinion and their own real evidence on how they've used e-collars and how it's saved their dogs' lives. And so the Scottish Government, to be honest, were in a really big quandary as to what to do, and they didn't want e-collars banned. They didn't see the need for e-collars to be banned, but there's a huge political side here to try and get it banned. So what they offered was for e-collars to be legislation in place for e-collars to be used under a certain guidance, and with regulation. Now, we don't want regulation either, to be honest, because who does the regulating? But that's what they proposed, and the I don't know what to call them, but the people that were opposed to that were very much not wanting that. They were very much no, banned, evil, cruel. So really, what happened from that? Even ignore the media. The media is very mainstream. Media is generally, with regards to this, is total nonsense. Remote collars are not banned in Scotland. Even after this thing, what did they say when it's tomorrow? Even after this thing tomorrow, remote collars are not going to be banned in Scotland. But they've done it about 4 times right now. That every 18 months it kind of comes up, and then it goes, they're banned, they're soon to be banned, and really scaremongering. And it's also to try and get followers with certain political parties. So the e-collar was and trainers as well, yeah. So the e-collars were not banned in 2018, obviously, but so what happened then was myself and a number of other trainers, I started the Association of Balanced Dog Trainers, and we really pushed with the Scottish Government to create a code of conduct and to help with regulation if that was going to be the case. We worked for over 2.5 years for that, really hard in the background, worked with a lot of civil servants within the Scottish Government. The Association of Balanced Dog Trainers, as well as a number of other balanced trainers, have met with the Scottish Government numerous times, and are also on a list of who would be contacted any sort of dog welfare. They would speak to us and ask our opinion and our advice on that. And that's really good. That's really good, because also others that were listed with that would be Dogs Trust, SSPCA, Kennel Club, those that don't have a clue about remote collars. What I say, driving license, people without driving licenses telling you how to drive. And so what came back basically wasn't banned, wasn't going to be banned. They also didn't want regulation. So basically we were just told to be quiet and just live life as normal. Why? Because the current guidance in Scotland, which is wonderful, is if you cause any unnecessary pain or suffering to an animal, you can be prosecuted. That is the law in Scotland. If you cause any unnecessary pain or suffering to, in this case, a dog, you can be prosecuted, which is a great piece of guidance and legislation because it covers everything. The trick from that is what is necessary in life and what is unnecessary. It's not being specific to certain tools, whether that's a remote collar or whether that's food or whether that's a slip lead or a harness or anything else, a whistle or thousands of other, a cage. So it puts it down to each specific case, and did that person cause unnecessary pain and suffering to the dog, regardless of what tool they used. But because potentially what would happen tomorrow is the law will not change. If you cause any unnecessary pain and suffering to a dog, you can be prosecuted. They then have, for example, here is a list of tools that they call them aversive, of course, that could cause pain and suffering. On there would be, top of the list, they would have e-collars or electronic training devices, shock collars, whatever you want to call it. They would have prong collars, slip leads, any choking device, is that what they say? Any choking devices or devices that could choke, would that include flat collars? A lot of it's open to interpretation. But the reality is no, remote collars will not be banned in Scotland tomorrow. But all they're trying to do is, this has been piggybacked on the back of another piece of legislation that they're trying to get, which has got nothing to do with training. It's really just a power grab by the Green Party, really, to try and get more voters. So it's been worked on for years and years in the background with remote collars and working with the Scottish Government. The Scottish Government opened and created a committee called the Scottish Animal Welfare Committee, and we have myself and Louise. You want to say hi? I'll put it on. Hi. And a number of others, Jamie Penrith on there. We had another few from the Association of Balanced Dog Trainers. 2022, wasn't it? 2022. Yeah. We met with the Scottish Animal Welfare Committee, among others, and including Dogs Trust, SSPCA, and a number of other peoples that are on the list to ask for advice. And what's great is balanced trainers are on that list. But so that committee was created really so that it could be apolitical and we'll look at the evidence and then we can put forward what we think. And we know nothing's really apolitical. But since then, nothing's really changed. It's now just a power grab by the Greens to do this, which is really, really rubbish and sad. If you actually look back, this started with, ironically, the Conservative Party in 2018 and pushed by a Scottish MP in Aberdeen, Conservative, and then it went through SNP, Labour have done it, Liberal Democrats, and yeah, we've got some pigeons here, look. Hi guys, what's happening, troops? Get some e-collars for them, get them under control. And now it's the Greens, they're taking their turn. So the hard thing for this, guys, is don't listen to the media. If you really want to know what the law is, and that's really what matters, is you can go on the Scottish Government website at any time. In fact, I'll find a link for you and put it on here. And you can click on that link and you can see the reality of the law. All right, which is, the law is if you cause any unnecessary pain or suffering to a dog, it says animal, but in our case dogs, you can be prosecuted. And that's great, because you can do that with anything. And if you do cause unnecessary pain or suffering to a dog, in this case, you should be prosecuted. So anyone that's worrying about they're not able to use their e-collar or their prong, because they're trying to add this as well, the people that are doing this don't understand that the remote collar and the prong are the two tools that are the most gentle, that provide the least physical to the dog when you're trying to, what we call, get the attention, right? So the the reality is nothing will be changing for yourself. Let people harp on and say whatever they want, jump on the bandwagon, the news, etc. This is where you're at a quandary on whether you decide to argue back with people, myself. To go on MS. Yeah, so if you really want to make change, or you really want to guarantee that nothing bad happens, is go and arrange a meeting with your local MSP in Scotland, and give them the knowledge. You're more likely to get back from that just the general blurb from their party, which is generally across the board, which is these are cruel, outdated, barbaric methods, etc. But you keep giving them the correct information, then you never know. There's been plenty of MSPs that have changed their minds, or whether they'll vote against their own party, etc. is a completely other thing. But the reality is, what's actually changing in terms of your day-to-day life, living with your dog, using certain tools, in this case using prongs and e-collars, that's kind of, or any potential choking device, you can absolutely use that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You don't need to feel bad about doing that. And just hopefully that clears it for you and makes you not so worried about this change in life. I mean, it's a slippery slope and it's not good. I mean, but we see that more, not just even in the dog training world, you see that in other aspects of politics and the way the world's going right now. And it's been like that in dog training as well. So all you can do, the best thing you can do, is just live your life with your dog, having it be the best dog it can be, not worrying and not feeling embarrassed about using the best tools. And that would be my advice. But definitely education is the way that you're going to change people and show them, show the whole hashtag show me, don't troll me. And you can show people, that's what's great, and know that you're in the right. So yeah, there's a number of trainers. To just straight off the bat would be myself, Louise, Jamie Penrith. We did have Adam Spivey helping as well from Southend. Adam's been helping us as well, and if I have forgot when you were there, I mean Andy Condy was there. There's Patricia Barrowbank as well, and there was a whole other bunch of good, well-meaning trainers that are really fighting this fight, that are actually doing something, and it's been going on for that's 7 years now. But we're the ones that have done it from the beginning and that still deal with that. I have a lot of other trainers saying this and that, but a lot of people also try and use that to try and build up their business, and so. But if you're really looking for correct information, then come to one of us and we can give you it. But the reality is, right now, do not be worried about using these tools. And no, they're not banned, and they're not going to be banned certainly through this legislation that they're trying to deal with. Is there anything else that we had to talk about it? I just really wanted to ease your mind about it, because fine on probably tomorrow and on Friday, straight in the papers if you read the papers, or just on social media and all this. It's just total nonsense. The amount of hatred and prejudice that you'll get and nonsense from so-called professionals, whether it's literally members of the SSPCA or a vet or something like that, coming and saying like, oh, you can't use this tool, you can't use that. It's total nonsense. There's a comment in by Geordie in there. What's he said?
Vet told me last month not to bring Viva back to them if she's still wearing a prong because they have no prong collar rule. Gordon, just maybe let them know that when Viva first, this was one of my foster dogs, that's really close. This was a dog who had been in Romania, come over from Romania, and in a kennel for 4 months because it was so dog aggressive that they couldn't get out of the kennel. So maybe just remind them that, and 2 weeks later it was off lead with my dogs.
Yeah.
And change your vet.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Your dad and that's down there if you want to tell him to come up.
Oh.
The key thing, I think, is if you don't like, a service that someone's providing to you, if you have someone who's so close-minded, who's meant to be a professional, now just straight off the bat, just because you go to a vet, you listen to the vet for, if the dog's broken a bone or has any physical ailment, you go to a vet. If your vet is giving you any behavioural advice at all, you go, no thanks. I'll speak to my trainer, my Roddy Kirk or my Louise Dixon. That's who I'll speak to. Just the same as if someone came to me and said my dog's got this lump on their shoulder, I'd be like, well, go to your vet. That's not, you don't go to a joiner for mechanics advice, you know, and that's the problem a lot of time there. So, yeah, I think that's the way you think. If you're not happy with if you go into a vet and they're saying, don't come in here, like, for example, just legally there, you're going in, you're wearing an Adidas hat, and they say to you,
especially a genuine fake,
and they say to you, you know, we don't accept Adidas hats in here, don't wear this Adidas hat anymore. You'd be like, what? You guys are mental, and yeah, I won't be coming back here. So you have that same attitude if they say, well, we don't have prong collars or e-collars or whatever. I would be, and you can give that comparison, because even from the letter of the law or etc., that's literally what they're saying. They're going, but we don't like this. So what you then do is you say, well, tough. I'm going to come in doing that, you know. Or what I would do is I'd move vets. There's plenty of vets that use balance trainers. There are plenty of vets that are hugely in favour of these tools, that have the reality approach. So seek out another vet, and if you struggle with that, then, you know, message me or post online or something. Look for a vet that's actually half decent. And when I mean half decent, that vet might be wonderful in actually what they're specialised in. Great. And that's potentially where you could have a quandary if you've got a vet and you know it's a really good vet. Like, that is a bit of a quandary. You got a vet and they're a great vet.
It depends whether they're open-minded or not.
You know, but, you know, and they've friggin' saved your dog's life or something, I don't know, but they then are so close-minded when it comes to certain tools. That's up to you, but, I mean, I'd go somewhere else, but there's plenty of good vets. But so I'm not saying a vet who has that is not a good vet, but they shouldn't be given that sort of advice. That was something that came up back in 2018 when this all began, was when they were potentially going to regulate the industry or looking at doing that, making that an option. One of the things that sparked me to even speak to the Scottish Government in the first place, because that's how this started, was our defence was me speaking to the Scottish Government and meeting with the Scottish Government. And what sparked that was the proposal from the Scottish Government after the consultation was, well, we could regulate this and you'd have to be approved via your local vet or a certified trainer to use a remote collar. So I contacted the Scottish Government back in 2018 and said, so why would you go to a vet? Who would be these vets? Why? They have no knowledge on remote collars. And who would be these trainers? And what do you mean by certified or qualified? Because it's a complete unregulated industry. So why would you go to them? And when I met with them, spoke to them, sorry, that was on the phone. And they said, thank you so much for contacting us, because we don't know. And that's when I then arranged a meeting with them, went with a number of other trainers, and have done ever since, and met with them, because they really didn't know what to do, and now they've got the help to do it. And we just hope that they've now got this welfare committee. So it's a hard one, but the reality is there's so much evidence to support remote collars, and there's not really any evidence to go against remote collars in this case. But sometimes reality doesn't matter in politics, does it? But yeah.
Yeah, like we sat in that board meeting in 2022 and nobody knew anything about remote collars, you know, like we were doing live demonstrations with our dogs, and the first thing some people actually said was, well, right, so there's more than one level, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah,
so when you have the people there that are wanting to make the decisions, but they don't even know about the tool. So the best thing you can do is give knowledge, provide knowledge. That's the best thing that you can do, is provide that knowledge to other people, and let them make their own decision. And unfortunately, that even is towards the decision makers as well, you know. So I think Heather wants to be in the live video. Did you see that?
Who does?
Heather. I just don't know if that's Chris or not, or whether it is Heather.
What should do?
I don't know if I should set them in, because they're dodgy. Dodgy people. So hopefully that answers your questions that you maybe had, or any concerns. And if you do have more questions, then message them or put them on, okay? And yeah, thanks very much all, and speak to you soon.